The Arcturians watch as the planetary frequency shifts. The Arcturians observe Earth moving through dimensional recalibration. The Arcturians confirm humanity has crossed the threshold point. The Arcturians recognize those choosing coherence over chaos. The Arcturians acknowledge the separation between old consciousness and new awareness. The Arcturians verify that this transition demands participation, not observation. The Arcturians confirm this shift cannot be reversed or delayed. The Arcturians identify stabilizers emerging across the planet. The Arcturians confirm the previous reality structure is dissolving. The Arcturians recognize who holds steady while others fragment. If you found this video, stop for just a moment. This wasn't random browsing. You're not here casually consuming content. Something inside you already knows. The Arcturians don't make contact during ordinary times. They don't reach out when people are simply wondering or seeking entertainment. They arrive when a planet crosses into irreversible transformation. Earth crossed that threshold already. What's happening now is structural reconfiguration, not metaphor, not spiritual poetry. The planet's base frequency is shifting upward. The laws governing what's possible are changing underneath you. Previous reality structures are losing stability silently, not through dramatic collapse or visible destruction, but through frequency mismatch. New reality structures are opening, but only for those whose internal frequency can match them. The Arcturians serve as witnesses to cosmic evolution because they understand something humanity is only now beginning to integrate. Reality doesn't answer what you want. It answers what you are. It doesn't respond to what you believe. It responds to internal harmony. Your thoughts, your emotions, your decisions, your patterns, when these stop fighting each other, the field recalibrates how it interacts with you. This explains the growing sense of displacement so many feel right now, caught between what was and what's emerging, belonging fully to neither. That tension isn't uncertainty, it's transitional force. The fifth dimensional state isn't a location in space, it's a consciousness configuration where internal contradiction falls below critical mass, creating less resistance, less splintering, more immediate response. When your internal world finds stability, external reality mirrors that speed. That's when you become detectable to the Arcturians, not through emotion or dramatic energy displays, through structure, through your behavior when nobody's measuring you. They observe who stays aligned without external validation, who acts without needing guarantees, who stops negotiating with their own knowing. If this is resonating with something deep inside you, take a moment and like this video and subscribe to this channel. You're not just consuming content, you're anchoring yourself inside a frequency network that's forming across the planet. This transmission exists because millions are crossing this threshold simultaneously, not awakening in the traditional sense, exiting the loop, stepping out of cycles that no longer vibrate at their frequency, leaving behind lives constructed from hesitation, internal conflict, and automatic reaction. The Golden Age isn't an event on some future calendar. It builds gradually through individuals who embody coherence before the world demands it. Every stabilized nervous system reduces collective static. Every aligned choice strengthens the morphic field. This video isn't trying to persuade you. It exists to help you see what you've already become. If this feels recognizable instead of novel, if it brings calm instead of excitement, if it carries weight instead of mysticism, pay attention. That's not random chance. It means you're already inside the transition zone. Stay grounded in presence. What unfolds next will reveal why the Arcturians are involved now, what function you serve in this planetary reconfiguration, and how to move into the emerging timeline without forcing, struggling, or chasing illusions. The real transmission begins here. The Arcturians don't intervene in planetary evolution. They stabilize what's already in motion. They don't manage emotions or beliefs. They guide systemic transformation. They engage only when a planetary consciousness field evolves faster than the structures containing it, creating pressure that demands release. That pressure defines Earth's current state. The planet isn't failing, it's outgrowing its previous form. When planetary frequency shifts, three phenomena occur simultaneously. First, internal contradiction becomes impossible to ignore. Second, repetitive patterns become unbearable. Third, alignment becomes the only viable path forward. This isn't spiritual turbulence, it's system upgrade. The Arcturians specialize in planetary frequency shifts because they comprehend how consciousness transitions between dimensional frequencies without fragmenting the containing field. They don't rescue failing civilizations. They teach coherence maintenance during complete reorganization. Most civilizations collapse at this exact stage, not from lack of intelligence, but from confusing stimulation with genuine evolution. Fifth-dimensional consciousness doesn't intensify emotion. It dissolves contradiction, creating less mental noise, less internal debate, more direct expression. This is why so many people feel exhausted by overthinking, by explaining themselves repeatedly, by justifying what they already know. Your system is preparing for simplified operation. The Arcturians track one quality above all others: sustained alignment in silence. They observe who maintains coherent action when feedback stops appearing, who stays present during the quiet moments, who moves forward without needing confirmations or signs. That's how detection functions. Not through belief systems, ritual practices, or desperate wanting, through behavior that remains stable even when the old reality stops rewarding it. This explains why certain doors close quietly, why specific relationships end without drama or conflict, why particular paths simply stop carrying energy. Nothing was stolen from you. The system eliminated unnecessary friction. This is the signature pattern of assisted evolution. The Arcturians are involved now because humanity reached a tipping point where non-involvement would generate instability beyond recovery. Their function operates subtly. They don't manipulate reality on your behalf. They modify the conditions under which reality responds to your signal. This creates a choice point. Either keep generating experience through reaction and resistance, or begin moving through reality with coherent intention. The transition won't pause, not because of urgency, but because it's already actively unfolding. Pause for one full breath. Don't adjust or correct anything. Simply notice your physical body exactly as it is. Now state internally, just once, I choose alignment over repetition. Don't repeat the phrase. Don't analyze what it means. Let the field respond in its own timing. Reality doesn't respond to spoken words. It doesn't respond to wishful intention or burning desire. Reality responds to signal clarity and consistency. Most people broadcast contradictory signals constantly. They want something while fearing its opposite, act toward a third direction, and hesitate between all of it. The field interprets that as static interference. Static creates time lag. Time lag creates repetitive loops. Repetitive loops create the experience of being stuck. Coherence transforms this completely. Coherence means you're thinking, feeling, nervous system state, and physical actions begin moving toward the same destination. Even if the movement is slow, even if it's imperfect, the moment this happens, reality stops mirroring your hesitation back to you. This is why coherence feels threatening to the ego structure, because justifications and excuses lose their power. When your signal stabilizes, response time accelerates. Opportunities don't arrive with fanfare and drama. They simply appear closer, more accessible. Decisions don't require force or willpower. They become obvious. Resistance doesn't vanish. It becomes transparent, easy to see through. When coherence stabilizes, the field stops testing your resolve. Testing only exists when signals fluctuate unpredictably. Once stability is confirmed, reality responds with access and flow instead of obstacles and pressure. This describes the shift many are experiencing without having language for it. Life begins answering more quickly. Patterns complete faster. Consequences arrive closer to the initiating action. Not as punishment or karma, as real-time calibration. This also explains why incoherence becomes physically uncomfortable after awakening begins. You can't unknow what your system has, already integrated. Pretending creates immediate friction. Delaying creates mounting pressure. The system isn't punishing you, it's optimizing for efficiency. The Arcturians teach that timeline selection isn't a single choice. It's continuous selection, moment by moment. Every coherent action maintains your position in the emerging trajectory. Every incoherent repetition pulls you back toward the dissolving one. This explains why the transition feels subtle yet irreversible. Nothing dramatic announces itself, but returning to the old way feels impossible. Reality has already recalibrated its expectations of your frequency. Take a slow breath inward. Let it release naturally without control. Now state internally, without emotional charge. My signal is consistent. Say it once only. Don't try to manufacture a feeling around it. Don't visualize anything. Consistency doesn't require imagination or effort. The field registers it through observable behavior. Stay present. Old timelines don't dissolve simultaneously for everyone. They collapse first around those meant to exit them. If you're receiving this transmission, it's not because of curiosity or chance. It's because the old timeline has already begun loosening its grip on your consciousness. That's not accidental. In every planetary shift, certain individuals begin experiencing displacement before the collective does. Not confusion or lostness, but misalignment with what previously felt normal and acceptable. This is mission recognition beginning to activate. You're not a random fragment trying to escape broken systems. You're a specific piece being relocated within a much larger design. Planetary transitions aren't carried by masses. They're stabilized by nodes, specific points of coherence. Nodes are individuals whose internal stability allows higher frequencies to anchor into the planetary consciousness field. They're not the loudest voices. They're not the most visible. They're simply more stable. When your coherence reaches a specific threshold, the old timeline loses its ability to contain you. It begins falling away quietly, not because it failed you or rejected you, but because you no longer belong to its function. Think of the old timeline as a structure requiring constant participation to maintain itself. Your attention, your emotional investment, your repetitive engagement. When you withdraw that energy, it weakens. When enough nodes withdraw simultaneously, the structure collapses without conflict or fight. This is why you experience the collapse internally before seeing external evidence. Why old identity structures feel burdensome Why pretending exhausts you completely? Why returning to previous patterns feels literally impossible? You're not becoming superior to others. You're becoming incompatible with what no longer serves planetary evolution. Take a moment and share in the comments below. What old pattern or identity has become impossible for you to return to? Your sharing helps others recognize they're not alone in this transition. The Arcturians identify mission agents not through belief systems, but through response patterns under pressure. How quickly you self-correct when you notice misalignment. How little tolerance you have for self-abandonment. How uncomfortable incoherence has become in your system. That discomfort isn't anxiety or fear. It's activation signaling. You're one of countless pieces that must be positioned precisely for the larger structure to stabilize. No single piece completes the whole picture. But without each specific piece, the image cannot form properly. This explains why your role feels significant yet quiet. You're not here to convince the unconvinced. You're here to hold a specific frequency. You're not here to rescue the world. You're here to make catastrophic collapse unnecessary. Old timelines collapse silently because people like you stop feeding them unconscious participation. You don't battle the old world. You simply outgrow it. Your outgrowing creates space for what's emerging. If this resonates at a deep level, it's because your function was never separate from this transition. You were always meant to be among the stabilizers. Take one slow breath. Feel yourself exactly where you are in this moment. Now state internally, just once, I accept my position in the transition. Don't repeat it. Don't visualize anything. Position is energetic reality, not imagined concept. Remain still. When mission agents sustain coherence simultaneously, something subtle but permanent occurs. The field stops being theoretical construct. It becomes structural reality. A single coherent individual stabilizes their personal reality bubble. But when multiple agents maintain coherence at the same time, the planetary field itself begins reorganizing. Not dramatically, not visibly to ordinary perception, but irreversibly. This is how transitions actually succeed. Not through mass belief movements, not through social organizations, not through noise and visibility, through synchronized stability. The Arcturians call this coherence clustering. When enough mission agents hold alignment simultaneously, their individual fields begin overlapping, not emotionally, but energetically. These overlaps create anchor points, and anchor points allow elevated frequencies to remain stable without collapsing back down. This explains why you've felt less isolated lately, even if nothing changed in your external circumstances. The network is forming. You're not imagining this connection. Across the planet, individuals who have never met are making parallel choices, releasing identical patterns, rejecting the same distractions, experiencing the same internal seriousness about their path. This isn't cultural trend or social media influence. It's coordination without conscious communication. When mission agents hold coherence collectively, the old timeline loses its ability to dominate attention and focus. It doesn't fight back aggressively. It simply becomes less convincing and compelling. Fear narratives lose their grip. Chaos loses its magnetic pull. Manipulation requires exponentially more effort because coherence generates clarity, and clarity dissolves illusion automatically without struggle. This is why your responsibility feels heavier now, not as burden, but as recognition of impact. When you destabilize yourself, you feel the consequences immediately because your coherence is no longer isolated and personal. You're functioning as part of a larger stabilization network. This is how planetary transitions avoid fragmentation and collapse. Enough individuals hold steady so the system doesn't fracture catastrophically. The Arcturians don't need charismatic leaders or figureheads. They need holders, people who remain present and grounded, who choose alignment even when nothing externally rewards that choice, who refuse to abandon coherence just because others around them do. That quiet, steady commitment is what allows emerging timelines to take root and stabilize. The Golden Age doesn't manifest all at once in a single moment. It stabilizes gradually through clusters of coherence expanding outward like ripples. If you sense the gravity of this moment, it's because you're already functioning inside that cluster. You're not carrying the entire transition alone. You're carrying your specific part, and that is exactly enough. Take one breath. Feel your spine without adjusting your posture. Now state internally once, I hold coherence with others. Don't imagine who they are. Don't search for them. The field already knows the connections. Remain still. The emerging timeline doesn't respond to effort or struggle. It responds to clarity and signal purity. And clarity increases as noise decreases. Silence isn't spiritual discipline or religious practice. It's signal refinement and frequency purification. When you stop explaining yourself constantly, your frequency sharpens. When you stop justifying your choices to others, your energy stabilizes. When you stop narrating your internal process out loud, reality begins listening more attentively. This is why the new timeline responds faster during silence. Not because silence is passive withdrawal, but because it eliminates interference from your signal. As mission agents mature inside the planetary transition, something subtle begins occurring. Your intuition accelerates, not emotionally, but structurally. You begin knowing things before they manifest, not as psychic visions, but as quiet certainty. You sense when situations are no longer viable before they visibly collapse. You feel when people aren't aligned long before their words or actions reveal it. This isn't fantasy or wishful imagination. This is what happens when coherence penetrates the nervous system deeply. As internal noise drops, perceptive range expands. You begin reading energy signatures instead of surface narratives. Physical spaces communicate to you wordlessly. Some environments feel heavy and dense immediately upon entering. Others feel open, clear, alive with potential. You don't analyze or deduce it. You simply know whether you belong there or not. The same phenomenon occurs with people. You no longer require explanations or conversations to sense alignment. You feel it or its absence instantly upon meeting someone. This is why many awakening individuals feel socially quieter recently, not withdrawn or antisocial. Strategic silence allows perception to remain sharp and accurate. And with this clarity deepening, another ability often emerges naturally. Dreams transform. They become clearer, more symbolic, sometimes disturbingly accurate. Not wish fulfillment fantasies, but previews of approaching reality. Dreams stop functioning as emotional processing and begin operating as timeline sampling. You don't dream what you want. You dream what's approaching your field. If you've been experiencing these shifts in perception or changes in your dream state, drop a comment below sharing what you've noticed. What's becoming clearer for you? Your experience adds to the collective understanding and helps others recognize their own transformation. This occurs because the emerging timeline operates closer to the subconscious layer of awareness. When coherence stabilizes, information reaches you before it takes physical form. This is why excessive talking disrupts the receiving process. Words pull energy upward into the mental layer. Silence allows information to remain integrated at deeper levels. The Arcturians teach that advanced perception doesn't activate through rituals, ceremonies, or techniques. It emerges organically when specific conditions align. Internal contradiction decreases, emotional reactivity diminishes, identity structure stabilizes, and attention stops leaking into distractions. Silence is the environment where these conditions naturally thrive. This explains why many of you feel increasingly drawn to withdraw from unnecessary conversations, to stop explaining your journey to those who can't understand it, to stop seeking validation from external sources. This isn't isolation or avoidance. It's signal protection and frequency maintenance. As these sensitivities sharpen, reality begins responding with increased immediacy. You move and feedback arrives almost instantly. You hesitate and friction manifests immediately. The system is no longer patient with incoherence at this level of development. This isn't punishment or karma, it's precision and efficiency. The emerging timeline doesn't need you to speak your truth loudly. It needs you to embody it silently. When you maintain silence, the old timeline loses its hooks into you. When you practice silence, perception deepens naturally. When you honor silence, the new timeline accelerates toward you because silence communicates something words never could. You already know who you are. Take one slow breath. Let your body settle without adjustment. Now state internally once, I trust what I sense before words arrive. Don't explain it to yourself. Don't question it. Perception stabilizes in silence naturally. Remain still. The Arcturians describe reality as a responsive field rather than a fixed architecture. It reflects consistency, not emotional intensity. This explains why emotional highs don't generate lasting transformation, while quiet dedication does. And if what we're exploring here about signal coherence and field responsiveness is touching something real in you, I want you to know that this video only scratches the surface of how to actually shift from unconscious transmission to becoming a conscious broadcast. In my book, Beyond the Frequencies, A Quantum Guide to Consciousness Mastery, I walk you through the complete system, the 9 master frequencies that move you from seeking to being, from manifestation to embodiment, including the specific practices for stabilizing your signal in ways this format simply can't contain. It's linked in the pinned comment below. Resistance always intensifies immediately before timeline lock-in occurs, not because something is going wrong, but because something is ending permanently. The moment an emerging timeline begins stabilizing, the dissolving one makes a final attempt to recapture your attention and participation. Not dramatically, not violently, subtly through familiar patterns. Doubt appears without logical reason. Delays feel heavier than they should. People react to you differently without clear cause. Small obstacles feel disproportionately significant. This isn't sabotage from external forces. This is signal interference from the collapsing structure. The old timeline survives through familiarity, through habitual repetition, through emotional hooks that previously worked effectively. But when coherence stabilizes beyond a certain threshold, those hooks lose their power to influence you. So resistance concentrates into a final pressure point. This is why many mission agents feel intense pressure now, not earlier in their journey. You already stopped feeding the old patterns. You already withdrew your participation energy. You already became incompatible with previous structures. The system recognizes this. Incompatibility triggers a final confirmation test, not to punish or block you, but to verify your stability is genuine. The Arcturians describe this phase as compression, a brief window where unresolved fragments surface simultaneously. Old fears resurface, old habits tempt you, old identity structures request one last negotiation, not to trap you permanently, but to confirm whether you still respond to their frequency. This is the exact moment where most people unconsciously self-sabotage. They start explaining themselves again. They doubt their intuitive knowing. They return to familiar noise and distraction. And the timeline doesn't lock into place. But when you remain still during compression, something irreversible happens. The resistance collapses completely. Not because you fought it or defeated it, but because it can no longer find traction in your field. This is why the pressure feels predominantly internal rather than external. The world around you hasn't fundamentally changed. You have, and the system is recalibrating around that undeniable fact. Once lock-in completes, resistance drops dramatically. Not because life becomes effortless, but because friction is no longer personal attack. Events align more rapidly. Decisions feel cleaner and more obvious. Energy returns without forced effort. This is why the Arcturians emphasize one instruction above all others during this compression phase. Do not react. Reaction feeds energy to the dissolving timeline. Presence starves it of sustaining energy. If you're experiencing unusual resistance right now in your life, this isn't a signal to stop or retreat. It's confirmation you're close enough to matter significantly. Lock-in doesn't require perfection. It requires non-engagement with what no longer belongs in your field. And once it completes, returning to the old way is no longer even tempting. The new timeline doesn't announce itself with fanfare. It simply begins responding as if it always knew you would arrive here. Take one slow breath. Let your shoulders drop naturally. Now state internally once, I do not react during compression. Don't repeat it. Don't resist anything that surfaces. Let lock-in complete itself naturally. Remain still. After lock-in completes, something fundamental shifts in your experience of time. You stop rushing. Not because you lost ambition or drive. Not because you became passive or complacent, but because your perception of time itself matured into something more sophisticated. This is one of the clearest indicators of a stabilized mission agent. You begin sensing when to move, not through logical analysis, but through somatic knowing. Your body knows before your mind calculates. Your system senses when moments are ripe for action and when they're not. This isn't patience as virtue. It's temporal discernment as intelligence. Before this phase, action felt urgent and necessary. You pushed forward. You accelerated timelines. You tried forcing things to happen. Now forcing feels fundamentally wrong. You sense that moving prematurely fractures the field you're trying to create in. You sense that waiting doesn't equal losing momentum. It means allowing alignment to complete itself. The Arcturians teach that time isn't linear progression. It's responsive field. When coherence stabilizes, time bends toward precision and efficiency. This is why you now recognize windows of opportunity. Moments that feel open, clear, light with potential. And when those windows appear, action feels completely effortless. No doubt, no hesitation, no internal debate or resistance. Outside those windows, nothing works no matter how hard you try. And instead of panicking, you pause and wait. That pause isn't fear or procrastination. It's intelligence responding to field conditions. This ability marks the transition from seeker to stabilizer. You no longer attempt to control outcomes through force. You coordinate with the field itself. This is why your life may appear slower to external observers, but feels faster to your internal experience. Less wasted motion, less emotional friction, more precise and exact movement. People who rush constantly cannot comprehend this. They mistake speed for power, confuse urgency with importance. But the emerging timeline doesn't respond to urgency or desperation. It responds to precise timing. This also explains why you feel strangely protected now. Situations that once pulled you in no longer do. Conflicts dissolve before they fully form. Wrong paths lose all attraction immediately. You don't consciously avoid them. Your system simply doesn't enter them. This isn't intuition alone operating. This is temporal authority, the developed ability to sense when your presence is required and when absence is the correct choice. This is why silence became natural for you. Why waiting feels active rather than passive. Why rushing feels like interference with natural unfolding. You're no longer trying to outrun time or beat some imaginary clock. You're walking with time, and when you move, the field moves with you in harmony. Take one slow breath. Feel your body exactly as it is without judgment. Now state internally, once. I move only when time opens. Don't rush the feeling or force anything. Don't search for confirmation. Timing reveals itself through stillness and presence. Remain present. There comes a moment when waiting ends. Not on any calendar date, not after receiving a sign, not when the external world finally looks ready or perfect. Waiting ends the exact moment you realize something nobody told you explicitly. You weren't waiting for reality to change. Reality was waiting for your coherence to stabilize. Most people think waiting is about time passing, but waiting is actually a posture, an energetic stance, a posture of suspended identity and delayed becoming, a posture of I'll move when I feel certain, a posture of I'll commit when I have proof, a posture of I'll become myself once life gets easier. That posture generates a specific frequency signature, and the field responds to that frequency by creating more delay, more tests, more repetitive loops. Because the old timeline runs on one primary fuel source above all others: unfinished decisions. Unfinished decisions leak energy continuously. They keep you half in, half out of everything. They keep you emotionally attached to possibilities instead of anchored in present reality. But after lock-in completes, something shifts. You begin noticing you don't feel the same tension around time anymore. You stop checking for signs, stop searching for confirmations, stop trying to predict when the shift will finally show up visibly. Not because you gave up or stopped caring, because you arrived internally at your destination. This is the moment you realize waiting ended, and it's remarkably subtle. It doesn't feel like fireworks or dramatic revelation. It feels like your nervous system stops bracing for impact, like you stopped holding your breath unconsciously, like you quietly accepted a truth that doesn't require external proof. The timeline already moved, and you moved with it. You can feel this because your relationship with the future transforms. Previously, the future felt like a destination, a finish line, a rescue from the present. Now the future feels like a current flowing through you, a current that's already pulling you forward in small, precise movements. You don't need to force it or make it happen. You just need to stop interrupting its natural flow. This is why you become simultaneously calmer, yet more decisive. You may still experience fears. You may still have uncertainty about specific outcomes, but the need to pause your entire life until everything makes perfect sense disappears completely. You realize something else crucial. Waiting was never spiritual practice or divine timing. Waiting was avoidance disguised as wisdom, because the ego loves delay above almost anything. Delay gives the ego a place to hide safely. If you delay indefinitely, you never have to fully become the version of yourself that can't go back. If you delay, you never have to face the real consequences of true alignment. But once your coherence is detected by the field, delay stops feeling safe or wise. It starts feeling heavy and wrong, and then a new kind of clarity enters your awareness. Not mental clarity, not motivational hype, functional clarity about reality. You stop asking, "Is this my path?" And you start asking, "Does this match my signal?" You stop asking, "What will others think?" And you start sensing. What does the field respond to? You begin noticing that reality is responding in a quieter way now. Not through dramatic miracles or obvious signs, through systematic removal. Things that once drained you lose access to your field. Conversations that once pulled you down lose gravitational pull. Certain people can't hook into you the way they used to, not because you became hardened or cold, because your frequency stopped offering the entry point they need. You may notice time feels different in quality now too. Days feel shorter, yet cleaner. Moments feel weighted with significance. You sense when a decision is final without needing to announce it verbally. That's how you know waiting ended, because you stopped living in anticipation mode. Anticipation is a form of absence from the present. It pulls your consciousness out of now and into a fantasy of soon. And soon is the favorite word of the old timeline. Soon I'll start. Soon I'll change. Soon I'll commit. Soon I'll become disciplined. Soon I'll leave what doesn't fit. Soon I'll stop repeating. But mission agents don't live in soon. They live in now. Not as a motivational quote or spiritual platitude, as a structural requirement of the emerging timeline. Because the planetary transition doesn't respond to intention or good ideas. It responds to embodiment and lived reality. When waiting ends, embodiment begins naturally. You start doing small things differently without thinking about it. You sleep differently. You eat differently. You speak differently. You stop leaking your energy into unnecessary explanations. And then one day, you realize something almost shocking. You're not waiting for the next chapter to begin. You're already writing it in real time. This is the moment the Arcturians call internal arrival. Not arrival to a physical location, arrival to your function inside the transition itself. You stop behaving like someone who is about to begin someday, and you start behaving like someone who already began long ago and simply forgot temporarily. And when that happens, the new timeline responds with increased speed, because your signal stops broadcasting, "I'm not ready yet." It starts broadcasting something completely different. "I'm here." Take one slow breath. Let your body settle without adjusting anything. Now state internally, once. "I stop living in soon. I live in now." Don't repeat it. Don't chase a feeling around it. Just let the statement land like a final decision. Remain still. The Galactic Confederation isn't a story about salvation from the sky. It's not a fleet waiting to intervene and rescue humanity. It's not a hierarchy of beings deciding who matters and who doesn't. It's a coordination architecture, an intelligence network formed by civilizations that successfully navigated their own planetary transitions. Not through military force, not through technological dominance, but through collective coherence. They exist for one reason only: to stabilize worlds at the precise moment when consciousness evolution outpaces structural capacity. Earth is currently inside that exact moment. The Confederation doesn't arrive when a species is asleep or unconscious. It arrives when enough individuals become functionally aware, not just spiritually curious, not just emotionally awakened, aware enough to hold responsibility without constant supervision. This is where your specific role begins. You weren't chosen in the way myths and stories describe. Chosen implies preference and specialness. Chosen implies ego validation. What actually happens is positioning based on frequency match. When your coherence reaches a certain threshold, the field reorganizes around you automatically. You're placed where your signal causes minimal distortion and maximum stabilization. That's how the Confederation operates, not through commands or orders, through resonant placement. Mission agents aren't leaders of people or movements. They're interfaces and translation points. Interfaces between higher-order intelligence and dense physical reality. Between emerging timelines and current systems, between coherence and chaos. An interface doesn't shine brightly or seek attention. It transmits and translates. This is why your life may look completely ordinary from the outside. You still work. You still navigate relationships. You still exist inside the system. But internally, something else is operating. Your nervous system regulates faster. Your reaction time shortens. Your recovery from stress decreases. This isn't self-improvement or personal development. This is operational readiness. The Confederation identifies viable agents not by belief systems, but by response patterns under pressure. Who stabilizes when others escalate? Who becomes clearer when others panic? Who simplifies when others complicate? Those specific individuals become nodes in the network, and nodes form functional networks. Networks allow planetary transitions to occur without catastrophic collapse. This is why your role often feels heavy yet quiet. No applause, no recognition, no external validation or celebration, because validation destabilizes function. The Confederation doesn't need devotion or worship. It needs reliability and consistency. Each time you choose coherence instead of reaction, you reduce planetary static. Each time you remain silent instead of defensive, you stabilize the collective field. Each time you act without ego attachment, a pathway opens for others to follow. This is how assistance works without interference or violation of free will. You're not guided step by step like a child. You're trusted to operate independently. This is why guidance feels internal rather than external now. Insights arrive without voices speaking. Decisions clarify without drama or struggle. Timing reveals itself without explicit instruction. You're not being controlled or manipulated. You're being coordinated with others at your frequency level. The Confederation doesn't create the golden age for humanity. It prevents unnecessary destruction while civilizations learn to create it themselves. And that learning happens through people exactly like you. Not teachers, not prophets, stabilizers, people who can live inside the old world while simultaneously anchoring the new one. If this feels serious instead of exciting, that's confirmation. If this feels familiar instead of new, that's remembrance activating. If this feels like responsibility rather than reward, that's alignment confirming itself. You were never meant to escape Earth or leave it behind. You were positioned to help rebuild it from within, quietly, precisely, without needing to be seen or recognized. That's how real transitions succeed. Take one slow breath. Let your body settle completely. Now state internally once, I accept my position within the network. Don't visualize anything. Don't seek confirmation or proof. Position doesn't announce itself. It stabilizes, silently, remains still. Let's be completely honest. There is chaos coming. Not the romanticized kind. Not the kind that makes you feel special for suffering through it, but a real phase of turbulence that appears in every planetary transition. Because when a field upgrades its base frequency, everything that cannot hold the new frequency begins surfacing into visibility. Unresolved patterns rise to the surface, false structures shake and crack, old identities panic and resist, systems built on distortion lose their grip on reality. That is chaos. And yes, at some point it becomes part of the transition process. But here's what most people fundamentally misunderstand. Chaos isn't the destination or final state. Chaos is the sorting mechanism. It's the phase where the planet pressures the collective frequency and reveals what's real versus what's performance. The old world collapses in waves because it was held together by unconscious habits, collective denial, and automatic participation. When consciousness rises, denial breaks down. When denial breaks, turbulence manifests. When turbulence appears, people either stabilize or fragment into pieces. This is where the stabilizers are forged, not selected from above. You weren't chosen because you're better than others. You became what you are because you refused to remain incoherent. You built yourself under sustained pressure. You trained your nervous system to stay present when it would have been easier to escape into distraction or numbness. You learned to hold alignment when nobody rewarded it or even noticed. You learned to stay consistent when everything around you was unstable and chaotic. That's not personality trait. That's initiation through fire. And in every true initiation, there's a moment where chaos attempts to make you regress, where the field compresses you maximally, where old temptations return with force, old fears return, old identity structures return, not to punish you or trap you, but to ask one final question. Are you stable enough to carry what's coming next? This is why your role is absolutely crucial now. Because the golden age doesn't begin when the world becomes calm and peaceful. It begins when enough people become calm inside the storm itself. The golden age isn't built by those who escape chaos. It's built by those who can stand inside it without becoming it, without being consumed by it. This is the critical difference. Most people think the future is created by dramatic external events, but the Arcturians teach something much colder and more precise. The future is created by who remains coherent when the timeline shakes violently. That's why the Confederation doesn't rely on mass awakening of billions. It relies on nodes, specific points of stable coherence. And nodes aren't born naturally. They're made through pressure and choice. A node is a person who can hold elevated frequency long enough for reality to reorganize around that frequency. When enough nodes exist and interconnect, chaos stops spreading exponentially. Not because chaos disappears entirely, but because it finds no place to attach and feed. It cannot hook the mind that remains still. It cannot destabilize the nervous system that's been trained. It cannot dominate a field that's coherent. Then something happens naturally. The chaos burns through whatever was unstable and ends itself. And what follows isn't celebration or party. It's silence. A quiet stabilization period, a calm reconstruction phase, a new baseline that doesn't need to announce itself loudly. That's when the golden age truly forms. not as fantasy or spiritual concept, as structural reality, a world where fear-based systems stop functioning because the collective frequency no longer pays attention to them or feeds them energy. This is why your path feels lonely sometimes, because you're ahead of the comfort curve. You're doing the invisible work before the reward becomes visible. That's what being chosen actually means in a transition like this. Not chosen by beings in the sky, chosen by the field itself through demonstrated proof of coherence. You became the kind of person reality can build a future on top of. And that's why your role isn't optional or negotiable. If you feel pressure, it's because your signal matters to the whole. If you feel targeted by intensity, it's because you're close to stabilization. If you feel like you can't go back to who you were, it's because you already became a different piece in the puzzle. The golden age doesn't arrive to save you from your life. It arrives because people like you made it inevitable through your choices. First chaos, then the quiet stabilization, then the completed transition. And you are one of the crucial stabilizers making this possible. Take one slow breath. Feel your body without changing anything about it. Now state internally, once, I remain coherent through the transition. Don't repeat it. Don't dramatize it or make it emotional. Let it land like a vow you're making to yourself and the field. Remain still. This is the final truth you need to integrate. You were never waiting to be chosen by someone or something external. You were being tested by sustained pressure. Pressure reveals what belief hides underneath. When things became unstable around you, some people fragmented. When the field shook, some people reacted chaotically. When chaos appeared, many returned to old patterns for safety. You didn't. You stayed present. You stayed coherent. You stayed aligned. Even when it cost you comfort and familiarity, that is why this moment recognizes you now. Not emotionally, structurally. Reality doesn't trust promises or good intentions. It trusts demonstrated proof, and proof is coherence maintained under sustained stress. You weren't spared from chaos or given an easier path. You moved through it without becoming it. That's the qualification. This is why your role feels heavier now, because once coherence is proven through pressure, responsibility activates automatically. The field no longer treats you as someone who might wake up someday. It treats you as someone it can build through right now. This is what it truly means to be chosen in a planetary transition. Not selected by beings, not elevated by status or special bloodline, but recognized because you became stable enough to carry the future frequency. You're not here to announce the golden age to others. You're here to make it unavoidable through your calm, through your consistency, through your refusal to regress no matter what happens. The chaos did its job perfectly. It burned away what was false. It exposed what was weak. It pressured what was unresolved. And now it quiets gradually. What follows is not celebration. It is construction, silent, precise, permanent. If you feel calm instead of excited, that's correct. If you feel serious instead of euphoric, that's correct. If this feels like remembrance rather than new discovery, that's correct. You didn't arrive here by accident or luck. You became someone reality can trust with increased responsibility. And now the transition continues forward. Not around you, but through you as a vessel. Remain coherent. Remain silent when needed. Remain exact in your choices. The field is already responding to who you've become. And here's something the original transmission didn't fully clarify. The Arcturians don't just observe from a distance. They're actively modulating the field conditions around nodes like you. creating protective buffers during the chaos phase, amplifying your signal when you hold steady, connecting you to other nodes through the quantum field even when you're physically isolated. You're not doing this alone even when it feels solitary. The support is invisible but constant. There's also something crucial about the compression phase that wasn't fully explained. During compression, your dreams may become extremely vivid or disturbing. This isn't random. It's the subconscious layer processing the frequency upgrade. The old timeline will use dream space to try pulling you back. If you wake from disturbing dreams during this period, don't engage the narrative. Simply breathe and return to presence. The dreams are pressure release, not prophecy. And understand this: the people closest to you may react strangely as you lock in. Not because they're against you, but because your frequency shift affects the field around you. Some will distance themselves without explanation. This is the field reorganizing relationships that no longer match your trajectory. Don't chase them. Don't explain yourself. Let the field do its work. One more thing about the golden age that needs clarity. It won't look like the fantasy images you've seen. It won't be everyone happy and enlightened. It will be a world where coherent people have more influence than chaotic people, where truth carries more weight than manipulation, where clarity spreads faster than confusion. The golden age is about which frequency dominates the collective field, not about perfection or utopia. Your nervous system is being upgraded right now as you receive this transmission. You might feel warmth in your spine, tingling in your hands, pressure in your third eye area. That's not imagination. That's the recalibration occurring in real time. Your DNA is responding to the frequency embedded in these words. The Arcturians designed this transmission to do more than inform. It activates. And finally, understand that once you're positioned as a node, you can't be repositioned back. The lock-in is permanent. There's no going back to unconscious living. Some people fear this permanence, but it's actually freedom. You're done negotiating with the old world. You're done pretending. You're done waiting. You're operational now. Take one final slow breath. Let it settle fully into your body. Now state internally once, I hold what I became. No repetition, no emotion, just simple recognition of what's true. Remain still for a moment. And if you want to anchor this transmission more deeply, take a moment right now and comment below with this exact phrase: I am coherent, not as a hope or wish, as a declaration to the field. Your comment becomes part of the quantum record. It signals to the network that another node has stabilized. Don't skip this. The act of declaring it publicly, even anonymously, locks the frequency deeper into your field. If this transmission touched something real in you, something beyond entertainment or curiosity, then I invite you to subscribe not just to this channel, but to this frequency, to this movement of consciousness that's reorganizing reality from within. Subscribing isn't about content consumption. It's about positioning yourself inside the network of coherence that's forming across the planet. The more of us who connect through this channel, the stronger the collective field becomes. Before this ends, I want you to drop one word in the comments that captures the energy you're choosing to embody moving forward. Not what you hope to become, what you're choosing right now. One word. That word becomes your energetic signature to the quantum field. It tells reality who you are in this moment. And subscribe not just to stay connected, but to stay coherent. Because the more of us who hold this frequency together, the more the world reflects that truth back to us. We're not building a community. We're building a network of nodes, and every node matters. If this transmission activated something in you, consider watching it again tomorrow morning. Each time you return to these frequencies, they anchor deeper into your nervous system. And if someone you know is going through a similar transition, share this with them. When you share quantum consciousness concepts like these, you're not just passing along information, you're creating an energetic ripple that accelerates both your embodiment and theirs, expanding the coherence network through the very act of transmission. The Arcturians are watching. The field is responding. The transition is underway, and you are exactly where you need to be. This transmission is complete, and if you're recognizing yourself as one of these positioned nodes, you need to understand something crucial about what the Arcturian Council has determined about your specific function in this transition. They've reached a judgment about who qualifies as a stabilizer and what that means for your timeline. The information in that transmission will clarify your exact positioning and what comes next for those who've been selected for this work. Watch it now,